जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। यशोदनन्दन व्रज जन रंजन। यशोदनन्दन व्रज जन रंजन। यमुना तीर वनचारी। यमुना तीर वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी। गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे। हरे हरे राम राम हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे। हरे राम हरे राम राम राम। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे। हरे राम हरे राम राम राम। जय राधे कृष्ण सब राधा माधव श्री राधे। जय राधा दामोदर राधा दामोदर श्री राधे। प्रभुपाद 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 प्रभु। जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 प्रभुपाद। नित्य लीला प्रविष्ट ओम प्रभुजगाचार्य स्तोत्र शत कृष्ण कृपा श्री मूर्ति अभ्यचरणारविंद दिव्य स्वामी शील प्रभुपाद की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वती व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठकी। Hare Krishna everyone. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 7, Chapter 6, Text 15 today. वित्तेषु नित्याभिनिविष्टचेता विद्वांश्च दोषं परवित्तहरतु प्रत्येहवताप्यचितेन्द्रियस्तत् अशान्तकामो हरते कुटुम्बी वित्तेषु नित्याभिनिविष्टचेता विद्वांश्च दोषं परवित्तहरतु प्रत्येहवताप्यजितेन्द्रियस्तत् अशान्तकामो हरते कुटुम्बी वित्तेषु नित्याभिनिविष्टचेता विद्वांश्च विद्वांस दोषं परवित्तहरतु प्रत्येहवतापि यजितेन्द्रियस्तत् अशान्तकामो हरते कुटुम्बी. If anybody would like to repeat the verse.
Viteshu nitya vinivishta virvansh chadosham paravita hartu pretyeham varya pavijanjriyastad ashantakamo harate kutumbi.
वेदेषु
Anyone else?
नित्या विनिविष्टचेता विद्वांश्च दोषं परवित्तहर्तुः प्रीतेह वाताप्यजितेन्द्रियस्तात् अशान्तकामो हरते कुटुम्बी.
Thank you. Anyone else? Word by word meaning, translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Word meaning. Vitteshu in material wealth. Nitya abhinavishta chetaha, whose mind is always absorbed. Vidwan, having learned it. Cha, also. Dosham, the fault. Paraviddaharatuhu, of one who steals the money of others by cheating or by transaction on the black market. Pratyaya, after dying. Iha, in this material world. Va, or. Athapi, still. Ajita Indriyaha, because of being unable to control the senses. Tat, that. Ashantakamaha, whose desires are unsatiated. Harate, stills. Kutumbi, to fond of his family. Translation. If a person to attach to the duties of family maintenance is unable to control his senses, the core of his heart is immersed in how to accumulate money. Although he knows that one who takes the wealth of others will be punished by the law of the government and by the laws of Yamaraj after death, he continues cheating others to acquire money. Purport. Especially in these days, people do not believe in a next life or in the court of Yamaraj and the various punishments of the sinful. But at least one should know that one who cheats others to acquire money will be punished by the laws of the government. Nonetheless, people do not care about the laws of this life or those governing the next. Despite whatever knowledge one has, one cannot stop his sinful activities if he is unable to control his senses. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोविष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवम् श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सह गणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी विश्वभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे वित्तेषु नित्याभिनिष्ट चेता विदांश्च दोषं परवित्य हर्तु प्रत्येहवतापि अजितेन्द्रियस्तत् अशान्तकामो हरते कुटुम्बे. If a person too attached to the duties of family maintenance is unable to control his senses, the core of his heart is immersed in how to accumulate money. Although he knows that one who takes the wealth of others will be punished by the law of government and by the laws of Yamaraj after death, he continues cheating others to acquire money. This is a miserable situation of most of the human beings in the society today. Making money or accumulation money or earning money is not a sinful, but one should know where to stop and what is the purpose of this money. But unfortunately, in today's society, the way the social structure is modifying or it is taking shape in today's scenario, most of the people they have no idea how to acquire money lawfully and how to utilization of this money, what he have accumulated throughout his life. This is really, really very sad reality of the today's society. And as Prahlad Maharaj is giving instructions to his friends in a Gurukul, what is the purpose of the human form of life? And it is very astonishing, and one should understand that how come a 5 years old child can give so deep instructions from philosophy. It is very, very significant. One has to find out that how a child can talk like a brilliant scholar. Because this knowledge, what he acquired, is not from this birth only. His knowledge is from his mother's womb. When he was in the mother's womb, Narada Muni already was giving instructions to him. So this instruction he has from his mother's womb. Even today's science also is accepting the fact that when the child is in the womb of a mother, whatever mother or father they talk, they listen everything, and they are gaining that knowledge from there only. And the result is coming out when the child comes in this material world, and the way he is leading the life, that is the result of the education he had or she had, the baby in the mother's womb. The practical example we can see from the Shastra, from Mahabharata, we can see during the battle of Kurukshetra, one day, as a plan from the Kaurava side, Arjuna was driven away from the main battlefield. to the other side of the Kurukshetra, of the battlefield. And then Kauravas, they built a phalanx of the army known as Chakravyu. And no one knows how to penetrate this Chakravyu except Arjun or Krishna. And both of them were away from the main battlefield. Then Abhimanyu he came up because in the Chakravyu there were just 7 circles. And these circles, they were not just made by the soldiers. Each circle was protected by the particular mantra. It is very difficult to believe in today's scenario. But it's a fact that each circle was protected by a particular mantra, and one has to chant the particular mantra to penetrate. So Abhimanyu he said that I can penetrate up to the 5 layers of the circle. Because when I was in mother's womb, one day my father was explaining the Chakravyuh formation and how to penetrate inside to my mother. And my mother, she was listening up to the 5 level, and then she fall to sleep. So I couldn't heard the next 2 circles due to my mother's sleep. So from this verse, from this story, we can understand that whatever a mother and father when they're talking, whatever they're sharing, whatever the way they are dealing with each other, they are behaving with each other, this all information is going to the baby in the womb. Isn't it very surprising? And today's science is also accepting the same thing. Now science, they are saying that the child's brain is developing in the mother's womb and they acquire knowledge from there. And we can see this in our practical life when the baby is in the mother's womb and how come the baby came to know that this person is my father, this person is my mother, or the person who are living in that house during the pregnancy time? Because babies, they listen the voice from mother's womb. And due to that voice, due to that recognition, when they come out in this material world, they identify the person with their voice, not by face first. First, they identify the person, oh, this voice I'm listening constantly. This is my mother. This voice also I'm listening constantly. It's my father. This is my brother. This is my sister. That's how they identify first, by the voice. Then later on, they start capturing the face from their memory. So, back to the point, according to this verse, what Prahlad Maharaj is educating to all his fellow friends in the Gurukul based upon the knowledge he acquired when he was in his mother's womb. They were, so, Narada Muni, when he was given instructions, being a guru, this is his job, this is his responsibility to preach Krishna consciousness to each and everyone. And exactly the same thing, the same knowledge, Prahlad Maharaj is sharing with his friends. And in today's verse, he is saying that the person to attach to the duties of family maintenance is unable to control his senses. Attachment to the family is a normal procedure of a human being. Even in an animal life, we see that all animals, they are attached to their offspring or to their parents. But for the human being, attachment to family or household affair is common but it has two categories, Grihamedi and Grihastha. Grihastha means the person who always encouraged, who always engaged his family members, his spouse, his parents, his kids in a Krishna consciousness, in a devotional practice. That is a Grihastha. Grihamedi, the person who is taking care of his family members, but he is not educating them how to make progress in a devotional life, in a spiritual life. In most part of the world, in common, in general, everyone is Grihamedi except few one who is practicing Krishna consciousness or who is helping their families to make advancement in a devotional path. We can see it like in India, it's a common to do deity worship. People, they have a picture, they have a deity at their home, but that picture and deity could be Lord Shiva, Hanumanji, Mother Durga, Mother Kali, etc., etc. That is also devotion. That is also a kind of a puja. But most of the people, they don't know where this devotional practice will lead them to. Most of the people are, unfortunately, they say everyone is equal. They put Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna, Lord Ramchandra, and Hanumanji, and Kartikeya, Mother Durga, Lord Shiva, everyone on the same platform without having understanding, without having proper understanding of devotional services or the position of different demigods. Most of them are just ignorant as the Brajavasis before Govardhan Puja. They were worshipping Lord Indra and thinking that Lord Indra is providing everything for us. So we should worship Lord Indra. Until they came in a conclusion or understanding the knowledge from Lord Krishna. And they accepted it, though Lord was a very small boy. But if you look at the argument, the way he is presenting everything in front of his father, mother, and all other villagers from Vrindavan, everyone accepted. And plus, they have experienced in their life that how Krishna has saved their kids and themselves from different kind of demons. Due to that faith, they understand that whatever Krishna is saying, we should follow. But unfortunately, though the sadhus they are present in modern society, still we are making so much challenges. And actually we should, before rejecting or accepting any of the thoughts, any of the instructions, we should put in a filter. There are three filters are there: Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. Whatever Sadhu is saying, the Shastra is recommending, or Guru is supporting, we should go through this filter. So, as a Grihastha, it is our duty to encourage my spouse and my kids and my parents how to develop bhakti in our life. Many of the acharyas in today's practice, they are encouraging that every grihastha, all the devotees grihastha, they should have at least the deity of Gaurnitai or the picture of Gaurnitai. Because by doing seva to Gaurnitai's picture or deity, one can bring happiness and peace in their family, and their kids will also learn how to do puja, how to do bhoga offering, how to sing kirtan. It is all auspicious for them. And we should teach our kids from the very beginning. We should teach them different kind of bhajan. At least Gaur Arati, Tulasi Arati, Nishinga prayer. We should teach our kids because this is the foundation of their life. If the foundation is strong, a building can stay for a long period, facing all kind of climate changes. But if the foundation is weak, that building can collapse very easily, which is happening in today's scenario, in today's society, worldwide. Because the foundation of the child is very, very weak. They don't know where to go, what to do, what is the motive of their life. Unfortunately, it is happening in India also, which is the epicenter of dharma, the religious practice. So we should try to rise ourselves from Grihamedi to Grihastha. We can see this example in Prabhupada's life also. When Prabhupada was very young, very small baby, his father taught him how to worship Radha Krishna. When he grew little more, his father gave him Jagannath Baldev Subhadra and a small chariot for him. And that chariot he was taking away in his neighborhood. And this basic education, what he learned from his life at a very early age, he practiced in his life. And now we see that small Radha Krishna temple, which was in his home, his father and mother, which introduced to him how to do deity worship. He, he brought Radha Krishna throughout the world. His father gave him a small chariot, and Prabhupada, he introduced Jagannath and Rath Yatra throughout the world. So this simple act, which was introduced in his very childhood by his parents, is manifested throughout the world. This is the impact of education in very early age. And in Srimad Bhagavatam, in the fifth canto, it is explained about different types of hellish planet. And after hearing about how the hellish planet are so miserable and how the punishments are so miserable, naturally, Parikshit Maharaj inquired how to get rid or how we can avoid this all hellish planet and the miseries. So we don't have to see even this hellish planet. He asked if someone has done sinful activities in his past life or in this life, unknowingly, how to do prayaschitta, what is the process of atonement. Because we may can remember some of our past, sinful past from this life, but we don't know how many sinful acts we have done in our previous life, if we believe so in our previous life, in past life. Many people, even they don't believe in the past life. They say whatever is there in this life only. There is no past life, there is no future life. So I got this body, I got this life, so I must enjoy it fullest. That is so foolish understanding about the karma and the reaction. But the Shastra is explaining everything. They have evidences that one should act in such a way that the person can eliminate all this previous karma, whether it is from this life or from past life, in this very life only. That's why Prabhupada is mentioning one word: let's finish this business in this life only. He didn't say, let's finish this act or let's finish this job. No, he said, let's finish this business. Why did he mention business, not act or job or any other thing? It's very easy to understand why people they do business. People they do business to make profit and make progress and expand their wealth or increase in their wealth. So, being a sadhu, being a devotee of the Lord, what should be my business? If I'm not making profit in my business, it means that I'm failure, being a businessman or being a businesswoman. So, if I am not making progress, if I'm not making profit in my business, so there is something wrong about the business method or the market or the strategy in the business. So I should make improvement to make profit in my business. So being a devotee, if I'm not making development, if I'm not going further, if I don't see any progress, then I must change the process. I must change the strategy. I must rectify my style to make profit in my business, to make progress in my business. That's why Prabhupada says, let's finish this business in this life. Prabhupada wants us to see all of us to be a successful businessman. And how we measure the success of a particular person in this material world? By looking at the size of his wealth. That's how we understand, oh, this person's business is really successful, is really doing good. By looking at this wealth and prosperity in material life, we are calculating or we are evaluating that person's lifestyle. That's how we see the graph of his progress. So, where is the graph of my progress in a devotional life? If my graph is not going up, it means that I'm not doing good in my business. So I should do everything, whatever it takes to make my business successful. So the atonement is one of the way how one can cut down or eliminate all the past sinful reactions. Because the all pastful, all sinful reactions, all sinful act what I have done in this life or the past, if I don't cut it down, I can't make progress. I would like to share one story of Rishi Mandava. Rishi Mandava, you can find the story in I guess it's in Mahabharata. So I heard this story long ago. So one time what happened that a thief, he stole some valuable from a king and was running away. To catch this valuable thing, the soldiers they were chasing him, the thief. And when a thief realized that there is no way to escape, so all of a sudden he find one hut, and inside the hut, Rishi Mandava was doing meditation. So he threw that packet of jewelry in the hut of the Rishi Mandava and run away. And from the far distance, the soldiers they also have noticed that this thief he threw this parcel inside the hut. So they thought maybe the boss of this thief is inside. When they came inside, the hut, they find that one person sitting on a meditation. So they thought this is the boss of this thief. So they tried to awake him, but he was in meditation, could not be awake. So they left him in in this sitting position without realizing that this is not an ordinary sadhu on meditation. He is not pretending that I'm on meditation. So they brought him to the court and they sent the message to the king that we recovered the jewelry and we also captured the boss of the thieves. So the king he sent the order, put him on shul. So there is a difference between shul and suli. Both are from the Hindi and Sanskrit. Suli means what we call today hand till death. That is a suli. And shul is like a needle. So what they do in those days, there was a punishment. They put one sharp object under the ground, and it is just, and the outer part of the object is just like a spearhead. So on the top of the spearhead, the make the person to sit, and slowly the spearhead goes inside the body. That's how the spearhead goes from down to inside the body by piercing the all organs. It is a very, very painful death punishment. So the king he ordered his soldiers to put this pretender, this boss of the thief, on a stool. When the soldiers they made the Rishi Mandava to sit on this bier, the the top part of the bier just enter in the bottom part of his body. And no matter how much they were trying that this spear should go inside the body of this person, but it was not going in. They brought this message to king, and king immediately understood that this is not an ordinary person. This is not a thief. He came immediately and asked his soldiers to take him out, but they could not take him out from the spearhead. They ordered to cut it. So the like a needle part still it was inserted in the body of the of Rishi Mandava. And king with his full family asking for the forgiveness from Rishi Mandava because they understood that this is not an ordinary person. And with his one glance and anger can destroy his entire kingdom along with his family. So he must keep asking for forgiveness. Please forgive us. Please forgive us. Whatever act we have done unknowingly. In the meantime, when the Rishi Mandava's samadhi broken, he understood this realization, the whole situation. He said, King, maybe you are not the actual reason behind this punishment. Let me find out the real reason why my punishment is like this. So, who can define? Only Yamaraj. So he came to Yamaraj and asked, what act I have done in past that I had to go through, or my body has to go through this punishment. So Yamaraj, he explained him that in his previous life, he used to catch insects. I don't remember the particular name in English. It looked like a helicopter which flies. It has a four wings, but the body shape is like a helicopter. So he used to catch that insect and tie them in a string and put needle in their back. And due to pain, the insect they used to fly here and there. So this punishment is due to that act, what he has done in his previous life when he was a small child. Then Rishi Mandava he asked one question to him. how old I was. I was above 8 or below 8. Yamraj explained that you was below 8. Then Rishimandava cursed him, Yamaraj. Rishimandava cursed Yamaraj that your next life will be a son of a slave, of a housemaid. But you will be remain intelligent and you will be truthful. And Yamraj accepted. So the next birth of Yamraj was as a Vidura. He was born with a maidservant, but he was one of the very exalted personality. But why Rishi Mandava he asked about the age of 8 or not? Because up to 8 is a Kaumaram. The kids considered as innocent. Whatever act they do knowingly, unknowingly, with their poor fund of knowledge, they should not be punished for any severe consequences later on. That's why it's very important that all Grihastha devotees they should educate their child in their very early age. So before coming to the age of 8, the child will understand what to do, what not to do, and the consequences of the bad act. Because Komaram Acharit Pragya, whatever knowledge we are imparting, the kids in their Komaram age, the tender age, this knowledge is leading them to be a successful life later on. And in today's verse, Prahlad Maharaj is describing that how people they can evade tax. People they are trying to cheat government to save tax money, not to pay too much to the government. Of course, in different part of the world, the taxation system is very different. Some countries they pay heavy taxes. They make the citizens to pay heavy taxes. And the real purpose of tax is to how to maintain the society and to make balance in the society. But unfortunately, in many countries, most of the tax money goes to fulfill the desires of these politicians. A fair taxation system is very, very much required all over the world, but it is not happening, unfortunately. And people, to save his hard-earned money from the heavy taxation, they're stealing, they are manipulating the method to save some money from the government not to pay the tax. And of course, they are not aware, most of the people, they are not aware that the tax amount which I am cheating from the government, I'm not paying. If later on, if it is discovered by the government agencies, severe punishment is there. And this unpaid tax amount known as a black money in the market. And when government they discover this black money, heavy penalties are there. So it's a social things we have to face. The person who is stealing tax or accumulating black money, when they are caught by the police, by the government, they have to face so much hate from the society. First. Second, they have to face imprisonment. This is in this life only. But they don't know that they have to face punishment by Yamaraj also after death. So one time stealing money, not to pay proper tax to the government, can give this punishment in this life and afterlife also. And when we are giving the proper information to the kids from the very childhood, they understand that stealing money or stealing anything is a punishable act. There is a story again. There was a thief, and he was famous or infamous for his for his art in stealing objects from the people's house. Once he was arrested by the police and brought in front of the king, and the king ordered him. He makes people's life miserable by stealing objects, the valuables from people's life. So he should be punished to death. So before hanging him, the judge they asked, "What is your last wish?" He said, "I wanted to see my mother." Okay. To fulfill his last wish, his mother was brought to the prison, and he said, "Mother, I wanted to say something in your ear," because his hands were tied and he was in a cage. So his mother, she came close to him, that son wants to say something. And what he did, he bit his mother's ear. So the president, the judge, and other police officers, they released his mother from this heinous act, and they asked, the judge asked, "Why did you bite your mother's ear?" He said, when the first time I stole something in my childhood, my mother, she didn't punish me. She overlooked my act. As a result, I got encouragement due to this ignorance. And today, in this youth age, I'm going to die because I was not punished in my childhood. If I would be punished in my childhood for the act, maybe I would be a different person. This is the same thing. If you are not educating our child in a proper way since their very early age, rather, if the husband and wife they are not exchanging valuable dialogues in between them and what the child is listening in the mother's womb, the life will be different. We all have to understand in this life that somehow all of our parents they did exchange some valuable dialogue in between them about something about religion, something about devotional. They all have discussed, which we have heard in our childhood once we were in a mother's womb. And this is the impact when we come in this material world and when we meet some sadhu by face-to-face contact or through books. This whole thing changed our heart, and now we are practicing Krishna consciousness. There are so many examples are there. Like I know Subhak Swami Maharaj is one of the Prabhupada disciple, and he is a Diksha Guru. He was studying in UK in those days. He was studying in the UK. So after his graduation, he was having a party time with his friends somewhere outside. He just passed out his graduation and having fun with his friends. Then he heard some sadhus, some devotees, they were passing by doing Harinam. So Subhak Maharaj is from Bengal. Bengali he is. And it is normal. It used to be normal before a Prabhat Feri, like early morning people, they do Harinam on the streets. Even in my childhood, I have seen one particular person was carrying a picture of Radha Krishna and one incense, and he was chanting Bhaja Radha Govinda, something like that. He used to chant. It's called Prabhat Feri. So Prabhupada, when he heard that some sadhu they are chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, he was so much surprised that how come all the way from India, from Bengal, they are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra on the street here because I have seen these things in my childhood. Subhag Maharaj was thinking like this way. So he was very much inquisitive to find out. So he stopped them and asked that, how do you know this mantra and where is your temple, etc. So they gave him the address and asked him to come and visit. And they said that in few days our spiritual master will be coming here. That's how Subhag Maharaj met first time Srila Prabhupada in London, immediate after his graduation. And later on, he became devotee. He gave up everything. So how do we think that just listening the Maha Mantra and meeting Prabhupada could change him into devotee? Because somewhere from his previous life, from his childhood, he had this Maha Mantra in his memory, somewhere stored. So when he heard Maha Mantra again in a UK, in a Western world, everything got connected. The same thing is in our life also. Somewhere our parents they put the seed in of bhakti in our mind when we were in our mother's womb. And when we came in a contact with the devotee, with the prasadam, with the darshan, with the books, with the sadhu, we all got connected. And all of us, especially me, trying to do bhakti. Maybe one day I will be successful to become a bhakta, to become a devotee by all of your blessings and mercy. And as a grihastha, as a grihamedi, people they are taking a lot of risk in their life. Even in the verse 10, today we are reading verse 15. In verse 10, we see how Prahlad Maharaj is mentioning money is so dear that one conceives of money as being sweeter than honey. Therefore, who can give up the desire to accumulate money, especially in household life? Thieves, professional servants like soldiers, and merchants try to acquire money even by risking their very dear lives. See, Prahlad Maharaj is always mentioning that to make money, people they are taking risk of their own life. Thieves, they are stealing money to become rich very fast. And businessmen, they are taking risk of their life. They are traveling day and night from one city to another city, from one state to another state, from one country to another country. And you never know what is going to be happen very next moment. Even the devotees today, they face sometimes the consequences when they go out for the preaching. Recently, when Indradyamna Swami last year he was in a Russia, he was arrested by the police. Later on, he was released, but he has to face. So it's a kind of a risk. And also, we know that in the past how difficult it was to reach Krishna consciousness in Russia, in China, all places. But still, the devotees they are taking risk. Though the situation is much favorable today, but in the past it was very difficult to preach. Gita was smuggled to Russia for the preaching purpose. The Buddhists have taken that much risk for the smuggling literature in communist country. So that risk is, of course, is affordable, and Krishna is making all the facility when the devotees are taking risk to preach about Krishna consciousness. But this Grihamedi, they are taking the risk of their life just to make better arrangement for their family. And the family, which they never know they're going to support tomorrow or not. There's example of Ratnakar, a dacoit Ratnakar, who was stealing money, killing people, just to protect his family. But when he met with Narada Muni, Narada asked, "Why you are doing this?" "Just to protect my family, just to maintain the family." That was the answer from Ratnakar. So he asked, "Do you think that your family they support you, or they will take share of your sinful act?" He said, "Of course, I'll go and ask." Ratnakar came to his wife, to his parents, to his kids, and asked the same thing. "Are you going to share my sin, what I'm accumulating by stealing and killing people?" Everyone refused. They say, "This is your job to maintain ourselves. We are not sharing whatever sinful act you do. This is your duty. This is your responsibility to take care of us." This statement brought tears in Ratnakar's eyes. And he left his family, his profession, everything, and surrendered to Narad Muni. Later on, he became famous as a Rishi Valmiki. So we all need a sadhu or shastra in our life who can guide us the proper path to make advancement, to become a better person, to serve the society. Sadhus, they are doing much better. The devotees, they are doing much better in the society to educate people to elevate their life to being a proper human being. So I would like to stop here today. If any question or comment, I would like to invite to share your insight. We have few minutes for Darshanarthi. Okay, so I will conclude the class here. Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Pramanande Hari Hari Bo.